Hello, dear students. Welcome back to our news channel. Students, today we are going to talk about important news article, and this consists a story about one of the most exciting things that's happened in India's space journey since since Rakesh Sharma flew into space in 1984. Okay, so we are going to talk about Axiom 4 mission, why it matters for India and ISRO and all of us. Okay, so before we start that, let's rewind time all the way back to the year 1984. Okay, so that's when Rakesh Sharma became the first Indian to go into space. It was, in fact, a proud moment for all of us. He flew aboard a Soviet spacecraft and spoke to then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi from space. And students, when she asked him how India looked from space, he famously said, "Sare jahan se acha, Hindustan hamara, better than the whole world." And that was an emotional moment. But there was a catch. Back then, India's space program was still young. We didn't have the tools or plans to learn much from that mission. It was more like a symbolic achievement. Yes, we have been to space, but what next? No one really knew. Fast forward to today, and things have really changed. Okay, so meet the new face of India's human space journey, Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla. He is a fighter pilot from the Indian Air Force. Okay, so if we talk about his resume in a nutshell, he has over 2000 hours of flying experience. He has flown across all kinds of aircraft, trained intensely for space travel, and selected as one of India's astronauts for the Gaganyaan mission. And now he is the pilot on the Axiom 4 mission to the International Space Station. Okay, now this is quite big. Okay, this is big news for us. Why? Because this time India is not just sending someone to space as a guest. This time we are sending someone to learn, to test, and prepare for our own future space missions, especially Gaganyaan. Okay, which is gonna be India's very first human space flight mission. Okay, so what is Axiom 4? Axiom Space is a private space company in the US. Okay, and they organize space missions to the ISS, International Space Station. Right? So, Axiom 4 is their fourth such mission. It involves 4 astronauts from different countries flying to the ISS to perform science experiments, training, and space research. Right? So Shubhanshu Shukla from India is the pilot and our hero today. Okay. So he's one of the part of the 4 astronauts. Okay. And students, this mission is different and it's smarter. Why? Because back in 1984, we had a dream, but we didn't have a plan. Today we have a dream and a plan, and it's called Gaganyaan. Okay, India's Gaganyaan mission is ISRO's ambitious project to send humans into space on an Indian rocket launched from Indian soil, wearing Indian made suits and inside Indian made capsules. So, sab kuch Indian, sab kuch desi, right? But before you drive a car, don't you practice first? Right? We always have a practice session before we drive the actual vehicle, right? So this Axiom 4 mission is like a practice round. And Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, he will fly to the ISS. Okay. and he will also train in real space conditions. He will uh, also handle emergencies. Okay, he will handle emergencies, and he will also pilot parts of the journey and bring back the real life experience that no simulator can offer. So, this is called mission readiness. And it's like rehearsing before the big performance, right? So, students, you might be thinking, what do astronauts even do up there? है ना, space station में जाकर क्या करते हैं? Well, students, they do science, lots and lots of it. Okay, so over 60 experiments will be done during the Axiom 4 mission. Okay, कौन-कौन से मिशन होंगे? सबसे पहले muscle loss in space. When people stay in zero gravity, you know, we have gravity. Okay, हमारे अर्थ पे क्या है? ग्रेविटी है, जिसकी वजह से हम लैंड पे रहते हैं, और जो गैसेस हैं, एटमॉस्फेयर हमारा एस्केप नहीं होता, राइट? So gravity is important to sustain life on any planet, right? But when people stay in zero gravity in space, there is no gravity, so their muscles become weak, and ISRO wants to understand this better before sending Indians on long space journeys. Okay, then they're gonna also study about the tardigrades. Okay, these are what? These are tiny creatures that can survive extreme conditions. Okay, and they will also be growing crops in space, because future astronauts will need food on long missions, and growing plants is part of the solution. ठीक है, ग्रेविटी और उसका जो अफेक्ट होगा ब्रेन पर, उसके बारे में भी स्टडी करेंगे. दैट कैन जीरो ग्रेविटी चेंज हाउ वी थिंक और प्रोसेस विजुअल्स. ओके, सो वन एक्सपेरिमेंट चेक्स हाउ ग्रेविटी अफेक्ट्स कंप्यूटर स्क्रीन यूसेज इन स्पेस, राइट? और एक डस्ट ऑन द मून है, because dust in space is not like the dust at home. It can damage machines and suits. So one experiment checks how we can manage it in a better way, right? तो ये सारे जो एक्सपेरिमेंट्स हैं स्पेस पर कंडक्ट किए जाएंगे. ISS जो इंटरनेशनल स्पेस स्टेशन है, वहां पर जब ये एक्सियम 4 मिशन जाएगा तो ये सारे एक्सपेरिमेंट्स कंडक्ट करेगा. ओके, नाउ स्टूडेंट्स, द क्वेश्चन इज व्हाट मेक्स स्पेस सो चैलेंजिंग? सी स्टूडेंट्स, space isn't just cold and dark. It's unpredictable. Okay, it's unpredictable. Every second in space requires extreme planning. नहीं पता ना क्या हो सकता है. You have to predict orbit. You have to handle emergencies, communicate with ground control, and navigate spacecraft towards a fast-moving ISS. On top of it, stay mentally and physically healthy. That's why astronauts go through years of training. ऐसा नहीं है कि थोड़े टाइम के लिए बस कुछ मंथ्स का ट्रेनिंग होता है फिर उनको भेज देते हैं. नो, दे गो थ्रू years of training. फिजिकली फिट होना चाहिए, मेंटली फिट होना चाहिए. Okay, and real missions like this one teach things no classroom can. Okay, now let's talk about India's space agency's role in Axiom 4 mission. Okay, so even though this is Axiom missions, Axiom जो private company उसका mission है, India's ISRO, our space agency, also has designed 10 experiments for it. And these are not just random science tasks. They are carefully chosen to benefit Gaganyaan, future moon mission जो इंडिया ने प्लान किया है, that will send humans to the moon by 2040, space medicine, material science. ओके, तो इन सब के बारे में ये एक्सपेरिमेंट हमारी एजेंसी ने चूज किया है. सो दिस मीन्स Axiom 4 mission is not just a visit to space. Okay, it's a classroom, a lab, and a rehearsal hall all rolled into one. Right? So these are the 4 crew members. Slavoj Uznanski, he's a Polish uh, engineer, right? And Peggy Whitson, she's an American astronaut, right, with the most time spent in space by a woman. And then we have Shubhanshu Shukla, of course, our Indian astronaut and pilot, and he's also selected for Gaganyaan. Then Tibor Kapu, Hungarian engineer focused on materials, polymers, and radiation. Right? Yes, he's a mission specialist. Okay, so together they are a team of experience, intelligence, and diversity. Okay, now students, let's zoom out a bit. Why does all this matter? Because India is not just sending people to space, it's building a space ecosystem. And this includes private companies making satellites, students and researchers building mini space experiments, ISRO collaborating with private missions, international partners working with us. So, Axiom 4 is a step in that direction. It shows that India is ready to lead, not just follow in space exploration. And when Shubhanshu Shukla comes back, he won't just be a hero, he'll be a teacher. He'll guide the next astronauts. Okay. So, what can we learn as students? Three big takeaways from this whole piece is सबसे पहले preparation matters. Okay. There's famous saying that the more you sweat in practice, the less you'll bleed in war. So preparation matters a lot. And Shubhanshu Shukla trained for years. He flew thousands of hours and then went to space. So success doesn't come overnight. It requires efforts. It requires time. Second thing that we can learn is science is everywhere. From growing plants in space to studying muscles in zero gravity. Science is helping humans go beyond Earth. Okay. Third is India India is currently aiming high, not just to show off, but to solve real problems. India wants to build skills and involve people like you in the journey. Okay, so if you love physics, engineering, or even storytelling, the space world needs you. Okay, so from Rakesh Sharma in 1984 to Shubhanshu Shukla in 2024, India's journey has been long, thoughtful, and full of stars. Okay, so thank you for listening, students. Share this episode with your friends and teachers and keep dreaming big. Maybe you could be the next astronaut we talk about. है ना? हो सकता है, क्यों नहीं? Possible है. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and keep reaching for the skies. Bye bye.